Hi, I'm Seth, the product engineer here at zeroheight. We're looking at different ways to measure adoption of your design system, and it's not just documentation, it's looking into code as well. I want to give you a little demo of something we've been working on and we're really excited to share with you. Let's take a look. There are two things I want to show off today: package adoption and component usage. Package adoption is looking at your design system package and seeing, are the versions up to date in the different products that you use it for. Let's say I have a core component library and that's on version 3. Are all the products on all the different teams also on that version, or do individual teams need some help getting up to date? The second is component usage. This is digging down into a particular product and saying, how often are we using different components? Let's take a look at package adoption first. You can see we've got a couple of different options for how we integrate with your design system package. We've got code repos, so that might be if you've already connected your GitHub repo, Bitbucket, GitLab, etc. Or maybe you have a package in NPM. So I want to look for Chakra UI. I know I've got a project that I'm working on which uses Chakra UI React, and it also uses the icons. So let's search for those. That's one we want. Bring in the icons too. And for good measure, I also want to see what version of React we're using. There we go, let's move on. So now, let's actually set up the design system analytics. There are a few things to note. You can see we've connected 3 different packages. And I've already got an auth token created for monitor component usage. We'll get to that shortly. Let's continue with track package adoption. You can see I've got a few different repos to choose from GitLab, Bitbucket, and GitHub. I'm going to choose Choco UI. It'll find the log file, and then we can take a look. Here we can see our different packages up top: Chakra UI icons, Chakra UI React, and if we do show all, we can see React here. Over here you can see the different versions, so we're on 2.11, which is the latest. However, I can see Choc UI is only using version 1.1.7, so there's a little bit of work to do there. This one over here is looking pretty good. And if we have a little look at React, we're on 16, yet version 18 is out. I want to see what versions of React we have across different code bases. So let's add another repo. We can go in here and add another repo to monitor. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to select a couple of different apps. Now let's have a look at what we just added. We can see I actually imported a mono repo. Our main app contains a bunch of different projects inside, and we can scroll down and see what versions of React they're all using. In our case, they're all on 17.02, but they're all still out of date, so this is something we could look at. Now, armed with this information, you could update your documentation, reach out to individual teams, and try and figure out how you can get everyone on the latest versions. Let's switch gears. We're going to dive into the CLI and take a look at component usage. Here, we're looking at the open source project Choco UI. Let's run the zeroheight CLI so we can see what components are being used and how often. Here, you can see the zeroheight adoption CLI has found a bunch of our components. So, you can see avatar and flex and link and things like that. But this is all in the CLI. Let's push that up to zeroheight. We'll continue, and then take a look at adoption. Now, down the bottom, you'll see component usage. And here are those same components that we were using. You'll notice I can see Chakra UI React, where box, flex, button is all coming from. I can dive in a little deeper and see maybe what are the least used components: vstacks, alerts, and form controls. Component usage is designed to give you a high-level overview of how often your components are being used. From this, we can see the most popular components and maybe the least popular components. Maybe the documentation could use some improvement, or maybe a particular component is buggy, or maybe nobody knows about it. Package adoption and component usage are something we're really excited about. With package adoption, you can ensure that every team is on the right version, and if they're not, you can give them a helping hand. With component usage, you can dig down into each project and see how often components are used and where they're used, and take actions based on that. That might be updating your documentation or refining the component in question. And then, you can push out an update and see how that's been adopted. These features are currently in beta. We're excited for you to use them, and please give us feedback.